All right, in this video, I'm breaking down 2 world-class VSL scripts that are running on Meta. They've been running for a while. They've made millions of dollars, and I'm going to be diving into why they work, how they work, the copywriting and the messaging behind it, so you can use the same strategies to scale your own brands. All right, if you don't know me, I'm Fernando Oliver. I've been in the e-commerce industry for half a decade now, and I built and sold 2 e-commerce brands. All right, so let's get into the video. Hope you enjoy. The first script we're going to be breaking down is the Spartan hair shampoo. So this is a hair growth shampoo advertised on Facebook with mini VSLs, images, and they're usually using quiz funnels. All right, so this is a very big brand, 7 figures per month. And these direct response ads are the reason they're scaling so well. So they're going after a clear problem, hair loss, specifically for men. Their branding is all targeted towards men as well for this product. And let's see that, let's check this script out and see how they're scaling so well. The hook, this is what you're signing up for when you shave your head. Let me show you something that might surprise you. So this is connecting to a common thought in the market, right? So some of the best hooks is if you can connect to thoughts that everyone in the market is having and bring out those thoughts to the surface, right? So this is what you're signing up for when you shave your head, and then it's showing the before and after during this clip. So this is something that none of these guys want to shave their head, but when they're losing their hair, it feels like the only option. An alternative to this, if you're doing health and pain relief, is when they say this is what surgery looks like, or that's the alternative that you don't want to do, but it feels like the necessary evil if you continue suffering from the problem. Let me show you something that might surprise you. And there's the open loop, which is what makes the hook effective, and it makes it into an actual hook. So we capture attention here. Remember, that's only half of the hook. The other half is that we want to bring them into the VSL. So that's where this comes in. Let me show you something that might surprise you. There's a reason to keep watching. So check out these 2 guys, same age, same starting point of hair loss. One guy just gave up and shaved. The other, he actually looked for a way to reverse it. You see how they look completely different? So as you can assume, they're showing a split screen with one guy who shaved his head and he's bald, and the other guy who has a full head of hair. And that's showing you that that's like the Crossroads, which is a very effective method. This is what happens if you continue down this path of suffering from the problem, unable to solve it, which is where everyone in the market is always at. And then the other path is you try something new, a new solution, a new way to reverse it, and you get the dream outcome. The guy who shaved looks easily 5 years past his real age, while the guy who didn't is aging like fine wine. And that's a little bit of agitation there, because it's creating a gap. That's what the Crossroads does very effectively. That's what, in these markets that are very sophisticated, like hair loss, you want to create a gap between where you're going to be if you don't solve it and where you can be if you use this solution. The truth is, shaving isn't going to give you a fresh start. Once the hair is gone, getting it back becomes way harder. And that's the same thing as in a pain relief VSL, when they're going to say the surgery is going to cost you thousands of dollars, months-long recovery time, lots of complications involved. So they're trying to, agitate that this alternative, the extreme version, whether it's surgery, getting some procedure for weight loss, or in this case for hair loss, it's not what you're looking for, and it's going to have a lot of drawbacks. So most guys don't realize what they're really signing up for when they grab that razor. Looking older than you actually are, feeling weird around friends who still have full heads of hair, and the lasting regret of not trying to save your hair when you could. So again, more and more agitation. Last year, I was in the same place as you. This is the transition to the personal story. My hair loss was so bad, I was ready to just shave it all off. That's relatable. Sure, there are options like minoxidil, finasteride, and hair transplants, but their risks and side effects made me think twice. So in this personal story, it's almost like a mini VSL. He has the problem. He was about to give in and just shave it all off. The alternative solutions don't work because they have risks, side effects. But before doing something I might regret, I talked to my dermatologist about my options. That's when I learned that restoring your hair naturally is possible. And then finally we come out of the, valley of darkness, and we get to a place where there is a solution, and the solution is now presented in the script. Not just maintain what you have, but actually regrow what you've lost. And there's the promise, which comes in the form of this personal story, so there's less skepticism. After a lot of research, I discovered a brand called Spartan. They had a different way to stop hair loss and grow the hair back without using any drugs, such as finasteride, minoxidil, or hair transplants. All right, so a couple things here. The solution, the product is introduced. We don't understand exactly what it is, but the brand is here, and it's a different way. This is the key, right? So they're gonna, bring in the solution mechanism soon. It's a different way to solve the problem, which is what we do to bypass their skepticism, right? That's what the problem mechanism is for. It's a new way to solve your problem that you haven't used before, which gives you a new hope and keeps you watching and keeps you interested. They worked on a special shampoo that helps people like me to get their hair back naturally. It's called the Spartan Root Activator Shampoo, and it was formulated with scientifically proven ingredients that detoxify hair follicles and inhibit DHT, a hormone linked to hair loss. This sets the stage for your hair to grow back stronger and fuller. So there's the promise. This is what you're gonna get, right? This is always really important. Relate it back to the viewer, and this is what it is and how it works. So this is what it's called. What it is, it's a formulated, scientifically proven shampoo, and and how it works is that it detoxifies your hair follicles and inhibits DHT, a hormone linked to hair loss. So here's the scientific explanation. So this is always how I like to do my solution mechanisms and product reveal as well. You give a short summary statement, what it is, how it works, what it does, then a quick summary of what you get, so your hair grows back and is stronger and fuller, and then you go into a deeper explanation, and this is where the 3D animations come in. This is where you really emphasize and get them to believe in the solution mechanism. So in this case, since it's a consumable, you're usually going to go into the ingredients. So in here, they have 4 of them. Licorice root extracts. Clinical studies suggest that licorice root can inhibit the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which converts testosterone to DHT, the hormone often blamed for hair loss. This clears the way. So, and also when you're doing supplements and consumables, your solution mechanism is going to essentially be, the solution mechanism explanation is going to be a summary of all the ingredients, everything that makes up either the product or whatever the supplement is. And each ingredient is an opportunity to give more benefits, more proof, and just really build up the desire for this product a lot. Black sesame shows that black sesame is rich in fatty acids and essential amino acids, key for cell rejuvenation. Helps to revive the cells on your scalp, which in turn promotes hair growth. Citric acid. This ingredient is important for balancing the pH levels in your scalp. Balanced pH means you can grow in a healthy environment. And then ginger root, full of essential oils, etc., etc. So again, these are all pretty much in an indirect way benefits of the product. They don't say it like that, right? This is extremely compliant. If you really, look specifically at how they're phrasing this, clinical studies suggest, research shows, they're not building up their own product. They're doing that indirectly by talking about the ingredients in there. This is how big brands like Gundry MD, who are spending millions a month, can really make a lot of promises and benefits while staying compliant. Right? They do it indirectly by describing the ingredients and the research behind it. And then we have a transformational journey. And this is what's going to make the benefits land, make it believable, and help the viewer to relate to what it would actually feel like to experience this product. So week 1 to 3, the licorice root starts detoxifying your hair follicles. It's not just a cleanser, it's setting the stage. By removing DHT and other toxins, your scalp will feel healthier and the roots of your hair will be more prepared for growth. This is supported by clinical trials on the effects of licorice root. So we have a lot of support and proof here, all the mentioning of research and trials, etc. And then they're not only making promises, so most people will make the mistake of just having this part, right? The VSL will just say, you'll feel this, you'll get this benefit. But in this case, they're explaining to you how that's actually going to happen by removing DHT. So you always want to connect a benefit to a mechanism. How are you getting it? Why is it actually happening? Instead of just showering them with benefits and promises, because this is what every advertiser does, especially beginners. So you want to take that to the next step, make your promises more believable, include a reason why. And that's usually the solution mechanism. So week 6 to 12, your hair roots are getting stronger because the black sesame, rich in essential fatty acids, is like a nutrient boost for your follicles. Again, you're getting this benefit, stronger roots, and it's because this is a nutrient boost for your follicles. Multiple studies confirm fatty acids are crucial for robust hair. So again, they end each claim with proof. This is extremely important for those that have been asking about how do I advertise, how do I use direct response in very sophisticated markets like hair loss, beauty, skincare, weight loss, men's testosterone support, etc., where they've been advertised to so much that just making promises is not going to sell the viewer on it. You need proof and you need really strong mechanisms. And then you need effective copy that gets these through in a very digestible way to keep them going through the VSL. So it's a fine line between going too deep into the mechanisms and the proof where you lose their interest while still keeping those elements in there. Weeks 12 to 8, the new hair becomes thicker and more resilient. Benefit, the beneficial effects of all the ingredients come into play. The follicles are no longer inhibited by toxins and are well nourished, allowing for more sustainable hair growth. And this is a summary of the dream outcome, the big promise, helping you experience and see this happen. And while they're explaining this, they're showing a 3D animation of the hair follicles growing, which is just going to enhance every promise they make. And week 18 plus, you've achieved full hair coverage. Your scalp is essentially a fertile ground for hair growth, all thanks to the scientifically proven ingredients in the shampoo. They summarize and link it back to the solution mechanism. Okay, that's always very important. You don't want to make empty promises or open-ended benefits that don't have a reason. You want to foundation them in the solution mechanism. So here it is, my straightforward story. I'm over 45. I tried just about everything for my thinning hair. So here's my story. Identifier/avatar call out. I'm over 45. That's like a direct avatar call out because most of the time you would just say your actual age. Tried just about everything. Relatable situation. Thinning hair problem. But let me tell you, the Spartan Root Activator shampoo changed everything. So they're going to go into this testimonial. If you're struggling with hair loss like I was, you've got to try this. And right now, they've got a great deal. 40% off for 1 bottle. Even better, more than 60% off for 3 bottles. So doing a little bit of an AOV push, bringing that top of mind for the viewers. Now, I went for the 3-bottle pack, and trust me, that's the way to go. It lasts 3 months, and that's exactly the time you need to start really seeing the difference. Again, pushing the AOV. This brand does have a really strong AOV. This offer won't stick around, especially since these bottles are selling fast. So there's the urgency. Plus, they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. Very simple, short and to the point guarantee. I saw amazing results, but if you don't, you can get a full refund, no risk at all. And there it is. That's the Spartan Root Activator Shampoo. So you can check them out in the ads library. Check out their ads. They're doing images, they're doing VSLs, and they're doing a lot of quiz funnels. So these longer 12, 14, 16 question quizzes that are going to sell you even more and take you through an indirect sales process. And they're selling this hair loss shampoo among other products, but this is one of the main ones. All right, and they're scaling really big with this. So that is the first VSL I wanted to review. And I'll be sharing this script as well after this breakdown. So the next VSL is even shorter. So this is a mini VSL from Ryze. We've talked about Ryze a lot. They're one of the most effective subscription brands using direct response advertising on Facebook. All right, these guys are doing crazy, crazy numbers. They're subscription only at this point, so their LTV is pretty huge, which allows them to advertise at a very big scale because they could spend a lot per customer. So let's go into the script and how they're selling their mushroom coffee. I gave my 79-year-old dad adaptogenic mushrooms, and what happened next blew me away. All right, so a very effective type of hook. We're not going directly after any specific problem. We're not calling out the viewer directly. It's just a very low pressure hook. That's very exciting too. So what's the angle here? 79-year-old dad. So it's someone giving it to their elderly parents. So that's the avatar that we're targeting with this script. So it's probably a 40, 50, 60-year-old person buying something for their elderly parents. I gave them adaptogenic mushrooms, which is kind of an exciting gimmick or mechanism that they're already bringing in. And what happened next blew me away. This is implying excitement, engagement. It brings you into the VSL. It's an open loop. Remember, these VSLs always start with an open loop, just like the Spartan one. If you remember their hook, let me show you something that might surprise you. All right, so they never complete the idea. They want to keep you there. All right, for 10 years, my dad's been struggling with joint pain and stiffness, and it slowed him down. It limited his mobility, and honestly, it's been hard to watch him age, watch him like kind of age that way. Okay, so this is like a UGC, so they kind of have much more casual language. But here's the problem highlight. So for 10 years, this person's parent been struggling with joint pain and stiffness. All right, and so there's the indirect call out. If you have a parent who's struggling with joint pain and stiffness, this is for you. It slowed him down, limited his mobility, and it's been hard to watch, so that's the emotional side. I was reading a bunch of studies, and it shows how adaptogenic mushrooms could boost blood circulation and cognitive health. So there's the indirect benefit and promise. When I say indirect, it's because we're not saying this product is going to get you this, right? That brings too much skepticism, and it won't work in a market like this. So we do it indirectly. So I thought, why not give it a shot? I don't want to give up on my dad. Very strong emotional language there. That's going to hit the viewer right in the chest. So I got him this mushroom coffee. It has 6 antioxidant-rich mushrooms like king trumpet and lion's mane that take just like 30 seconds to whip up. At first, I wasn't sure if he'd okay, this is very, At first, I wasn't sure if he'd notice the difference, but within a week, the changes were undeniable. He started telling me that he was sleeping through the night, which is something that he hadn't done in years, and his memory is sharper than it had been in years. So this is going through like a mini UGC style, direct response style short ad, indirectly making all these promises. Again, it's a very unique angle. Ryze has done tons of angle testing. So if you go through their ads library, you'll see every possible angle for tons of different problems. That's what's so effective about these general consumables and supplements. You can go after anything. In this case, it's joint pain and stiffness, but they also go after gut health, mental health, brain fog, memory, etc., etc. And he's sleeping through the night, which is something he hadn't done in years, and his memory is sharper than it had been in years. So this is the big promise. It might sound small, but he actually remembered to take off the onions on his hamburger, and sometimes he forgets and makes this huge fuss about it. So more benefits in a very relatable, casual way. The best part is the stiffness in his joints started to go away. Swelling around his fingers looks like it's close to non-existent, and when he does get flare-ups, they go away faster. So just a lot of benefits, again, targeting the same angle, someone for their parent. These adaptogenic mushrooms gave me a lot of hope and confidence that there are natural things that can help. Right, so there's kind of the big idea. If you have an aging parent, direct call out now, you can make a difference in their life and get them some Ryze. It's risk-free, and they have a holiday off sale going on right now. All right, so this is a shorter UGC style ad. that's just getting a ton of subscribers for this product. So that is the Ryze mushroom coffee case study. And again, I'll be sharing both of these scripts so you'll have access to them as well as the breakdown of how it all works. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, subscribe to the channel, leave a like. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. And check out my private community, the Ecom Blueprint, where I go much deeper into how I put together VSLs, funnels, and how I build e-commerce brands. The link is in the description. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.